Hey there, sexy souls. It has been crazy here with the weather. So a lot of what we are dealing with is like it turns green and then there might be a little bit of sunlight and then another storm system comes through. When I tell you it's nonstop lightning and all kinds of other crazy shit, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. So not much we can do. There's not much to be done outside or to be able to enjoy time outside. Hey Manishka. So I'm just happy we haven't had any exceptionally bad things happen because of the weather, because it's not been pretty. And we're going on the third week of this, and I'm like completely over it. So, and it's definitely getting to my head. Hey everyone. Hey LP. Look at LP. Well, because it takes like 60 seconds, there's like a delay. Right? Well, what time is it there? Isn't it morning time by this time? I always thought it was like, isn't it like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning? You're it's funny because you'll get up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and you'll stay up with me. But at 6 o'clock, you're like, oh, I should be asleep right now. It's 3:22? Damn. So when I'm on earlier, it really does. It is like what time is it when I do that? Oh my gosh. So it's really like 10 o'clock then. Why do I always feel like if it's 9 o'clock in the morning? Because it's 1:22 here. That makes you're 14 hours ahead of me? Because that's 14 hours. I know how to add. See, it's 1:22 here. 3:22 is 2 hours on top of that. That's 3:22 a.m., right? That's 12 plus 2 is 14. I know how to add. Like, what? Because Australia just getting further and further away from me? What's going on? I don't know why it feels like it should be like, I don't know. That is weird. So every time I'm like, you should go to bed, really, it's probably a decent hour. Why did I feel like it was the middle of the freaking night and like you would be so tired? I don't know. What else? I don't know what we're going to get into today. I felt pulled to come and do this, but there was literally nothing that led up to it. Can I just be honest with you? Like, there wasn't anything other than I kept thinking about the weather. And I was like, okay. So, like, there wasn't like I felt like a decrease in tension once I decided I was going to come on. There was a lot of tension here, and it feels like it's subsiding. I'm like, okay, that's good. So maybe there's some stress that's about to just kind of like be handled or taken care of or dissipate for somebody, which is obviously we'll take that. But there was no like vision, no auditory, nothing. And like I feel like I'm one of those old people now because I can tell when certain shit's happening. Like I've got this pain in this jaw, and it means that I'm like, why? Why am I this person? I've got my sweatshirt on because it's cozy. There's a bit of a cozy energy, but not anything else. Oh, a 3 p.m. coffee. Funny you say that. I tried to make myself a coffee and then mix in the cocoa, and it just wasn't hitting right. It was not. I think I put too much milk in it. And it was just so I had to make me a tea. But I do feel, I think what it is whatever energy I am tapping into, something is or will be happening that's going to release because I can feel all the areas of tension and it's starting to dissipate. But you know how as it dissipates, you can feel where it was. You can feel the remnants of the ache. And it's got like, all this morning was perfectly fine. It's like the back of my head and like here and like the jaw's tight. And I'm like, so to me, that's somebody that's clenching. That's somebody that's having a lot of, you know what I mean? So we'll just take that because that was all there was, and we'll go from there. See what comes in. Hopefully there is a fucking release. Hey, Joe. Hey, Sunshine. How are you? All right, let's do this. Okay. Very, 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 very to the point. This is the Sunlight Tarot. They want me to shuffle it really good, so just give me a hot minute, okay? I've got peeps from everywhere that come on. We've got some in the U.S. on the East Coast where I'm at. And then we've got India, Australia, sometimes the UK, South Africa, like people from everywhere. So I could just be mixing up people's times, you know, like their time zones and stuff like that. That might be what it is. Uh-oh. This right now is I had no intentions of looking at this, guys. I just did. Like there was no conscious anything. I just started to look at, like, I don't know what the fuck for. So obviously they were directing me to it. This is going to be a collective one today, okay? We have 6 of Pentacles with the 10 of Wands. That's exact. Okay, they want me to keep the 6 of Pentacles. All right, so we're going to take these cards. 6 of Pentacles is restoration. It is reciprocity. It is the balancing, you know, of like your time to receive, help, aid, assistance, improvement, all that kind of stuff, right? Next to the 10 of Wands, which is obviously about the burden being over, right? You're going from the 10 to the Ace. It is finally getting to that spot where things can get better, that can start over, right? The 10 of Wands is that super heavy energy. Man, I cannot talk. It's the burden, right? And so obviously, I think that energy was poignant. There is a release happening. The tension is being released. Something is transpiring to improve the situation. So I know y'all saw it. I know you saw it, and I kept seeing it. When I had, like, after I laid these 2 cards down, there was the 5 of Cups with, or maybe the 6 of Cups. I don't know, with the Ace of Pentacles. And I was like, I'm not going to keep going and telling a story like that. So I started shuffling, and it still came the fuck out. So I'm sure y'all saw that when I was doing it. Give me just a hot minute. Obviously, there's a brand new start within your tangible world, but I think this has everything to do with your finances, because we're dealing with the 6 of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles here. So financial burdens are about to improve. They're kind of gonna, there's like an evening out. There is the fact that I said like a improvement, having done without reciprocity. There's some level of reciprocity, receiving. Let's go further. There's something about wanting this to come in so that you're able to handle a new path that you're about to go down. Okay, we've got the Queen of Pentacles with the Star card. Star card being, they're giving me the energy of kind of like being guided down a particular path. And there's a need to be in the Queen of Pentacles type of energy. So having the resources, the capacity, the wherewithal to handle it all, right? Because she's the baddest bitch on her own type of situation. Become the Queen of Pentacles unless you've already mastered like your mental realm, emotional realm, your passions, desires, your power, right? And so there's this sense of having the capacity within herself to handle shit. And I feel like we understand in this world today, having the capacity to do it, like within you, like the internal realm, isn't the same as having the tangible ability external to yourself, right? So sometimes we can sit in this Queen of Pentacles energy for quite some time. Like, if I had the opportunity, I could do it, but I just don't have the opportunity. But I have the capacity. I've got everything in me to be this, that, or the other, to run an empire, to do, whatever it is. It's always just about that opportunity, right? The resources that allow you to action things. Because there's a desire, a spirit wants you to expand on something that you have. It's a desire of yours. Okay. We got the Ace of Wands here. This is something that it's like that spark that can grow into a fire. You have desire, you have strong energy and power behind something. It's what you want to direct your capacity, the Queen of Pentacles, towards. You know what I mean? It's a very focused, instead of spreading shit completely all over the place, it is bringing it in. But in doing so, whatever this is, I don't know why this is so broad right now. It is about to expand your entire world by focusing on this one thing, by putting your energy and having the capacity to actually execute, is what I want to say. It takes you from the Queen of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. That's the difference between the two, right? Queen of Pentacles got all the capacity within her, the skill sets, the resources, the wherewithal within her, the power, the mental capacity, the knowledge, everything. Got it all. You got it all. You just need that leverage external to you to action it. And sometimes we lack the resources, which is the way I see Six of Pentacles, is that help, that assistance, the support, the tangible things that you need to be able to follow through with something. So the Ace of Wands being that power, or that passion, the thing you have, the drive, where you're focusing. This new area of focus, Ace of Wands, is going to open up. We got the World card with it. Like this, being able to put everything behind that is what opens the world up to you, is what brings in all these other opportunities, is what kind of starts that domino effect. And so I feel like whatever, we're going to focus on what this Six of Pentacles is, because it gives you the capacity to actually start it, right? Because if you're still the Queen of Pentacles, you haven't really been able to bring it to life external to you. Like, it's not in your reality yet. But the Six of Pentacles is what gives you the capacity to start this new path, to do that, to just, oh my God, why? I have never felt like something has taken over my tongue so fucking much. Lord have mercy. So it's like, I just see the Star card as in spirit is guiding you into the area where you can do this, because you are the Queen of Pentacles, because you are ready, because you have the capacity. That's why they're like, okay, they wouldn't be doing, you have to attain the level of Queen of Pentacles before you can become the King of Pentacles. You just have to. Otherwise, there has to be at least a certain level of potential success. It's like the idea that one more failure would almost permanently set you back, or one more, you know what I mean? Like, you really had to get your seaworthy legs so well rooted in your energy and in the Queen of Pentacles before they could say, okay, now you can transition in to bringing it to life, right? We're gonna find out. I'm hot. What is going on, guys? What the fuck? like, holy shit, it's 69 degrees in my house. How cold do I gotta have it be in order to, like, I wanted to be cozy. I was cold earlier, and I'm like, something's heating up for you. No, I'm not in menopause. I don't have hot flashes. In case somebody was asking. I don't know about the Six of Pentacles then. We've had bits and pieces of this. We've had bits and pieces of readings here and there talking about something being the crux of what improves a situation and gives somebody the leverage to do something. We've been having that pop through periodically, but the fact that I'm feeling the energy of the release, of things kind of heating up, it's like, okay. And just any day now. New era elements. Talk to me about the Six of Pentacles, please. Okay. It's odd because in this particular new era elements, in this particular deck, I've got the Mother of Fire, which is the Queen of Wands. Okay. Then we have Despair, which is actually the Eight of Cups. Despair being maybe having to let go of something that was a little bit difficult to let go of. But I would never characterize the Eight of Cups as despair. To me, the Eight of Cups is like when you reach that point of enough is enough. Like it's all too easy to fucking let go of something because you see your sights are set on and you're aware of what it is what your true desire is, the Nine of Cups, your wish, and you're moving towards that. When you hit that precipice of being willing to just, it's all too easy to let go of it, right? You're not in the confused state anymore. That's why it doesn't feel like it would be despair to me, which I guess is why they put it in reverse, because I don't do reversals and they wanted to leave it in reverse. It's not difficult. It's not despair, but there is still a walking away. And maybe for a little bit, you didn't have the capacity to. That could also be why it's in reverse, but I'm feeling more like you're at that point, like the breaking point where it's just like, it would be no skin off your nose and it wouldn't be difficult whatsoever. And to me, the Queen of Wands is somebody who's been waiting for that moment. She learned a long time ago not to chase. And maybe you got to the point of you're so ready to let this go because you went through that stage. You went through the stage where you tried to make shit happen and where you tried and you burnt yourself the fuck out. And then you realize, I am not going to overextend myself, exhaust myself. If it doesn't come naturally, then I'm not going to, like, I'm worth more than that. You're standing in your power. And so you waited. You're like, I'm going to be strategic about this. I'll be ready. So it's almost as if the opportunity, right, for this, where it's all too easy to walk away for something, happens because it's paired with a Tower. Tower being, that's neither positive nor negative, remember? But it's all our perception. And if it's all too easy, when this Tower moment happens, it's not going to feel negative. It's going to be like, it's going to feel like relief. You've been waiting. And it's almost like the Tower moment had to come to you. This had to happen like this in order for you to be able to walk away easily. And because of that, because you decided to wait, you have your reserves of power. Like, if you're constantly trying to make something, and you're spinning your wheels the entire time, and then the moment shows up, you're going to be so fucking exhausted and tired and depleted. And it's just like, Sometimes people don't move beyond that. Like when the moment arrives, because they ain't got nothing left in them. You waited. I'm not saying you, at no point you didn't do that, but you're in a place where you're like, oh, hell yeah. You know, like those people who, tortoise in the hare, right? That story. Or when you're talking about like marathons, that's a lot of shit, right? Or triathlons. And there's some people who try to like powerhouse it, and they are drained the fuck out towards the end. But because you took the approach of, oh, okay, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not overexhausting myself. I'm not going to overextend myself. I'm not pouring out my fucking cup. Okay. You might have been bored as shit. You might have been frustrated with the stagnation. But you also were like, I'm not even going to allow myself to get all hyphy about this. So you have the energy, right? And that's usually like the third leg of the race towards the end, when the other people, they're about to like collapse and you're able to keep going on right past them, right? You make it to the end, to the finish line. And in a record time, in a faster time than them. Because by the time they've done collapse, other people are having to like literally carry them across the finish line. That's not you. So you have power. They want me to use the word power. It's not just strength. Like you have the steam, because this is Wansu. You have like the momentum, right? It's almost like a race cars when they're revving their engine before it's time to go, and then that way they're not having to like start from zero technically. And so it's like, you know, it's like it builds up pressure, and that's almost like it gives you. It'll push you and traject you forward faster, if that makes sense, right? So, okay. Remember, towers are like inevitability, right? The towers are the fated type of events that are supposed to happen. And so if something's fated, it's really, there's a lot of like timing and events that are all like, structures can continue to exist on a faulty foundation for quite some time, but there has to be enough deterioration on that for it to finally come crumbling down, for it finally to break, right? And so it's all about all the elements lining up right for that to happen. That's the idea of fate, right? The things and choices and events that happen that bring something about that's fated. And so there's something about this, like you were not, this isn't something where you could have like dynamited the place and caused this to come down. Okay. I feel like you had to wait. This is beyond just yourself. So that's why overextending yourself just wasn't gonna, you know, I mean, there are other structures in play and you didn't have any control over it. Okay. So this is something where you couldn't have made it go faster. I'm sure it pissed you off, but you couldn't have. But now it's crumbling. It's coming down. Okay. So what is the Six of Pentacles then? How does the Six of Pentacles come into... So the Six of Pentacles ties into... There's something about, it feels like the Six of Pentacles comes in at a time when the Tower is coming down. And because it's almost like, had this help and assistance come in before, you would have ran through it before this moment where you could actually walk away. So this, because I do feel it's money connected to a certain degree, that it's almost like if I gave you the money beforehand, then you would have used it at that point and maybe not have been able to build upon it. Okay. And to ensure that you had this as a reservoir when the tower came down, we kind of may have delayed this a bit. Like this is intentionally coming in right as this almost simultaneous to this tower coming down. And that's part of it being all too easy, right? To walk away from something. It's just the perfect little storm, the perfect scenario. Okay. Because we have right here, the Ace of Wands, talking about the Six of Pentacles. So this is something coming in, something new, something that sparks something off. New project, new endeavor. Like this could also be like a job. Like if we're talking, because I always think of something that has passion behind it, something these are aces. We have the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands. Projects, endeavors, adventures, that kind of thing. And if the precipice of being able to do this to make it where it's easy to walk away is that the structure has to come down. Because maybe the structure would have been an obstruction to you moving forward, to you actually walking away. And it would have made it exceptionally difficult. And to ensure that you could go with this, it's just something about, it's like divine order and timing all at the same time. Yes, you would have loved it had you, maybe the Six of Pentacles came a little bit sooner, but you wouldn't have been able to go anywhere with it. Right? And then what if, because you were doing okay, I hate to say it like that, when the tower came down, you're like, well, that kind of thing. What if you ended up, because you got the Six of Pentacles too early, you created another structure, another tower that kept you rooted here. And so whether or not this other one came down didn't fucking matter. You were stuck. Right? And so it's one of those things where it's like, well, if we had given you a job, this project, this endeavor, this whatever it is beforehand, not only like, it's one of those things where it's like, you could have, like, maybe it was like, oh, it would require me to move and go somewhere, but this other fucking thing is still in the way and it would have kept me here. So this has to come down first so that I can escape and go away easy, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But then if they had brought you the Six of Pentacles in beforehand, like another job or another something that would have kept you rooted here, you started it and everything else like that, it wouldn't have mattered whether this came down or not, because there's another structure that would have kept you tied here and everything else like that, right? And so it's kind of like you would have, like, the other thing that had been blocking you comes down, but you're like, well, now I've got this job and blah blah blah. You'd have said no. So there's something about removing that as an option for you, and we can tell because it was. I've heard of people that burp a lot when they channel, and I'm always like the one part, like, don't let me do that, don't let me do that. We can tell that it was very difficult because it was the Ten of Wands. It was the Ten of Wands. That shit was burdensome. Yes, fighting for your life at times, because before the 10 is the 9. So there's this sense of, when this Ace of Wands comes in, it comes in as the other tower is coming down, which you didn't really have a lot of control over. And when there are other people wrapped up in this tower, they'll do their damnedest to try and keep it erect, right? Which just counteracts anybody else who's willing to let it fall, right? And so it might, and Spirit's just kind of like, I can only do so much to force things. It's better when we allow this to naturally occur, right? We all know that. We've all experienced the tower moment. Do we like it when Spirit takes the proverbial boot, puts it to the ass, and knocks us off the cliff? Or do we prefer to go, okay, I got this. I'm going to jump on my own. You see what I'm saying? So we know that it's better to allow it to choose it, to allow it to happen. This thing, this Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, okay? This Six of Pentacles, the thing that comes in and almost evens things out. This is the Six of Pentacles. Whatever this Ace of Wands is. It's like a restoration of happiness, joy, optimism, all of that. Six of Cups. Like, you feel alive again. It brings in a lot. Three of Cups. I'm getting out. I'm connecting. I am receiving more. It's more than just one cup. Alchemy, going back and forth, filling my cup up. As soon as I empty it, it gets filled. As soon as it's almost like so much that my cup is pouring, because I've got two other cups, 3 cups altogether, two things pouring into my one cup. My shit runneth over. That's why it's considered the abundance card. And then on this, we literally have equilibrium. This card's equilibrium. It's called that. There's a lot of cups here. You are getting away from the despair. You are feeling alive again. It's like the time to receive. It's fucking happening finally. And it's important and crucial that this happened either simultaneously or just before this thing comes in, so that the path before you would be cleared. I want to know what this they didn't even let me talk. We do have oppression and deception. You know, the Seven of Swords is trying to maintain a positive mental state. It is looking at, seeing, viewing things, and positioning yourself mentally to maintain the level of peace, the progress that you've made. Because you go from the Five of Swords, conflict, just everything at odds internally, to this Six of Swords, which takes you from it's that transitionary period, getting you away from the rough waters into something more calm. And a Seven of Swords is really about, while for some it may feel like deception, if it's negatively aspected, when it's positively aspected, it can be about doing what is necessary to maintain and keep. That's what all sevens are, right? Trying to figure out the way to maintain and keep the progress, right, of what came before. Let's think Six of Pentacles. What's after the Six of Pentacles? Seven of Pentacles. Somebody gives you the seeds. What do? You go plant the seeds and try to make it turn into more than just the seeds, right? And when they start to break ground, because of all the care and attention and what you did to cultivate it, that's the Eight of Pentacles. Six of Cups, a return to joy. Seven of Cups. What do I do to capitalize this and maintain that? How do I grow it? That's where the confusion comes in, right? You want more joy. You want to keep having that. But then when the world of opportunities come up, you're like, oh, but how do I do that? What's right? Seven of Swords, same scenario. Like, I have gotten myself into a much better mental state. I see things clearly. I have a better level of discernment. What do I got to do? These are the positive mental habits to maintain that, right? But if we're next to the Ten of Swords, the oppressive state, it is, how fucking hard was it to do that? To maintain peace. To not feel utter constant conflict in your mind. And if you're in that energy of constantly trying to figure that out, how do I position myself better? That's the Seven of Swords. And staying in that too long is where it feels like the situation, circumstance, and the mental state took over. It had a hold of you, right? That's the oppression. It kept you locked up. That's where you're coming from. Victory. All of this is a victory over that. Remember when I came on, I said I felt like a tension was leaving? Like the tension, somebody must be under a lot of stress, anxiety, it's releasing. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's almost as if I bet whoever I'm reading for has tension headaches where it's like the entire, like this, probably has the ones that go up the back from the, probably has muscle spasms and jaw problems because they're clenching all the time, even when they don't fucking realize it. Like, it's like when you finally, like, I heard somebody say, drop your tongue. And I'm like, what? And then I realized my tongue is constantly, and as soon as I dropped it, it was like, oh, like I relaxed and I was like, oh shit, I didn't even notice how tense I was. Some of the telltale signs of that I thought were normal at one point in my life until somebody said, no, do this. And when I noticed how it felt, the difference, I was like, oh shit. You realize just how tense you really were. You were locked up here. And it prevented so much. It kept you in place. And that's where the victory is being had. You are releasing the level of stress that kept you locked up. I just somehow, how is the tower related to that though? Because it's almost like this has to come down. Because if you had gotten this before, I think this is the source of the tension. This existing structure, this existing thing. This is the source of conflict and feeling like you're constantly having to fight. Like there's never a right answer. Just to maintain sovereignty over your own mental realm. Like it was just, I want to know what this is then. We're just going all over the place, all over the place. Who wants to tell me? They're quiet. It's got to be over here. I'm going to do Fallen Angels Oracle. Sorry, guys. I just get to, it's 5/5. Sign of change. We're going to find out, see if we can't get details. Obviously, something is improving the finances. I can't talk. Finances. But those couldn't improve until this came down. And I feel like, remember I said you didn't have control over this. Whatever this tower is involves other people, other structures. And so there wasn't anything that you could do because other people were trying to keep it erect while you were trying to bring it down. So any of the clamoring and running on it was all for nothing. Whatever this tower was, they wanted it to stay up because it kept you from bettering yourself. Somebody or people knew involved in this tower, the ones that wanted to keep it erect, this structure, this thing that was inevitable to get pulled down. They wanted you to, because look, we've got persuasion and danger. It's like, trying to dress something up better than what it really is. This could be a person, like family members, a job. Like they were hanging on. This could be even something as far as like maybe it doesn't even involve you, but as long as these other people were involved in this, like, I don't know, maybe somebody having a particular type of job that gave them a lot of influence and therefore they could interfere. A very simplistic one would be like the narcissist that is on the police force. Has nothing to do with you, but they did everything they could clamoring to make sure. And it was just a matter of time, just a fucking matter of time before they got found out, right? Before their antics led to something that would pull them out of it, right? It was just or maybe there was a downsizing or somebody new elected into the sheriff's office or something to that effect, right? And so then it's like they could only keep it up for so long. But you know how that is. Like when somebody is in a position where we see it all the time where people have fucking connections, and so therefore anything that you wanted or desired, they could thwart, right? And you knew, right? And this is just a scenario. This could be very legitimate for somebody, but you get the picture of the energy of this. You fighting against it wouldn't have done any fucking good. You'd have been spinning your wheels. So there was two things. You needed an improvement in your financial situation or improvement in your stability, Six of Pentacles, and the Tower to come down. And Spirit was like, if I give you the stability, you may just end up finding yet another way to anchor yourself into things. And we're trying to get you out of here. So maybe, and I know you want to don't shoot the messenger, but maybe not having stability up to this point was actually a blessing because it gives the ability to get free and clear. You don't have anything else holding you here. You don't have anything else holding you in place. Because that's what would have happened. Persuasion and danger. If they'd given you something, you may have been like, oh, things aren't so bad. You wouldn't have that steam. Remember I said almost like the NASCAR, like the race cars where they rev their engine. It's like they got so much power already built up. So when the flag goes down, like you know what I'm saying? It's like they'll do that for a reason, right? And had you been running on the hamster wheel, when the flag goes like this, you've been starting at zero. You've been depleted. So even you got hit to what was going on and you just stepped back and you waited for the moment. You knew the moment would come to you. You knew it would happen where you'd be like, it's almost like being able to, because you weren't going to help hold this structure up. You were just waiting for the others to get tired too, and it just comes crumbling down. And it makes it too easy. At the exact same time that happens, your Six of Pentacles happens. What is the Six of Pentacles? Your Ace of Wands. What is your Ace of Wands? A return to happiness. The ability to make a choice. Abundance. Overflow. It allows this transition to be easy. If they had let this come in beforehand, you would have been persuaded maybe in a direction that would have counteracted all the efforts, all the things that were happening to try and get you go. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't see it. It would have been more dangerous for you. Because what if that had happened, you'd have been stuck here for another 10 years? Oh hell no. Do you think that in 10 years you'd be in the place to be like, okay, I'm ready? Like, no, you'd have fucking given up. Given the fuck up. This is the best scenario for success and transformation. They're giving me Marvel. Maybe not in game, but Infinity War, where Doctor Strange is like, he goes through every like 14 million different scenarios, and then Tony Stark's like, so how many do we win? And he's like, one. Like in every other scenario, it becomes so much because here's the thing, had Tony Stark not lost everything and then gained things after he lost everybody, because there was a 5-year blip, right? Sorry for those who've never watched the movie. Half the world's population disappears. The people he loves, except for his significant other. And then during that time, he has a daughter that is born. And it required all of those elements for him to be at that place, the precipice of being willing to be the one to let shit happen, right? Everything had to go according to plan. All those elements, because had one element been missing, do you think he would have been as apt to do what he did in that moment and feel like, I am the only one, I have to do this right here, right now? If not only did it mean him having, like, he had Spider-Man, like, all his people that he could bring back, but also needing to save the potentiality of future for his daughter. Like he had to have that steam, that power to build up. It's almost like the trifecta. It's like you had to have this tower gone. You had to have the steam and the wherewithal and the whatever it is, the power behind this, and the opportunity to land at just the right moment, like with him. In order for things to go, in order to have this particular success and transformation. And I'm quite certain it pissed you to fuck off. You were done, dead, over with. Oh my God. And maybe was angry and bitter the entire time, like he was. So pissed, he almost didn't go back to help them. They went and said, hey, we're trying to do this one thing. We're trying to bring the people back. And he was like, I cannot for the life of me allow myself to go there. He almost didn't have it. But when he kept toying with the idea of it, his daughter shows up. Like, he almost didn't make it, right? Like the 10 of Wands, the burden became too great. And if you look at the Rider-Waite 10 of Wands, they're carrying it and they look like they're about to collapse. And just on the hill, like the home, their goal is right fucking there. And they don't know if they're going to make it. So you may have been through that. So when we say it was, you may have felt, there's deception. You may have felt lied to by the universe. You may have felt like you deceived yourself. Other people deceived you. Spirit deceived you. You probably felt like shit. But it's this leads to your success. I did a reading a couple days ago, maybe a whole week ago. These all like smash, and it feels like, oh, I just did it. And it would be like 3 weeks. So take that for a grain of salt when I give you a timing. But it was almost like, had love come before, the person wouldn't have felt nearly as compelled to go after the other thing. It's almost like when you reach a level of happiness and contentment. It was the one where we talked about the Adjustment Bureau, that movie. Movies have been coming through lately for like messages. Sometimes it's music, other times it's movies. And it was like the idea of, they were trying to keep them apart because he wouldn't have fulfilled a certain goal of his that would have benefited so many others. And neither would have she had the two of them come together. They would have been so happy internally with what they achieved from that level of love that they wouldn't have felt the fire, the drive, the buildup, the power to go after anything else. And the universe at play felt like it was more important. Like It was just as important to have this ricochet effect, this ripple effect of there's other things they were meant to achieve other than just this love. And so in that reading, it was like the sense of person was like, why is this showing up now? I don't even want it. Like, kind of thing. Like, I'm over here focused. And they're like, because now it can come in. Because you're in such a trajectory that we know you'll never give up on this just because you receive this. It's the same kind of like energy and essence of why things kind of had to play out the way that they did. So let's go back to see if we get any more details of this Ace of Wands. That, like, the Ace of Wands is the Six of Pentacles. So whatever you receive, the Ace of Wands is what you receive. What is that? That brings everything back into balance and allows you to start this new trajectory in life. Okay, what is the Ace of Wands specifically? La, 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 la. Okay, we might get a couple from here. This is the Archangel Tarot. It's never been about the universe not wanting you to be happy. And it's never been about trying to punish you. But it has been about something more and greater than just you. And that's why it took this path. Ace of Wands. I told you the Ace of Wands is the Six of Pentacles. We got Six of Earth, which is the Six of Pentacles. Gifts of money, time, effort, career opportunities, receiving loan, paying off debts. It is money related. And then we have the Moon, events happening behind the scenes. The Ace of Wands is something coming to you that may have been occurring. Again, we already discovered that there's a lot of things happening at once that kind of had two, divine order, divine timing, all of that, because those are two different things. But it also says release fears that hold you back. There's a level of this money or this career opportunity, this financial freedom puts you in the place of, like we said, making it all too easy to walk away. Because it allows you not to have, like, it helps to remove a fear. So it is, but if we're looking at the Ace of Wands, this is a desirable thing, an exciting thing. Feels a little adventurous, feels like I'm coming back to life. Like I'm like, yes. Like it's all too easy to say yes. Okay, we're definitely going to take that one. Okay, motherfuckers. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. Okay. It's funny because this forward trajectory, this power, this slingshot forward is going to feel so much easier than what you just went through, that stagnation you went through. It gives you this, the fucking mental reprieve. putting that bitch on pause. Like, this is the release. This is the letting go. This is the peace. It brings fucking peace. Like I said, like when I unclench my jaw and they tell me to do a certain thing, and then I'm like, oh, that feels so good. I didn't realize how much that was. And there's something about the Six of Pentacles, this Ace of Wands coming in, that you'll probably fucking cry. You've seen those people. They go and see a chiropractor. They go and see somebody that just does something, and they're like, they didn't know it was possible to feel that way. They had dealt with something for so fucking long that it was like, to be free from it, just tears. You mean this is how other people, like neurodivergent people who finally get on a certain medication that can help them, and they're like, oh my God, you mean this is how people experience life? Right? It's that kind of energy. With Page of Water or the Page of Cups. It's replenishment. And the funny thing is, this says they're bringing me to the heightened psychic insights, but y'all know how hard it is to tap into your downloads, to your intuition, to your knowing when the mind is battling itself, when it's constantly at like whatever. And even when you don't hear it, when the battle is going on so much that you don't even hear the noise anymore, but you just feel it, like the ability to kind of like cut through and grab a hold of your gifts, the messages, to hear spirit. It's as if when this gets put on pause, the level of clarity and feeling in touch and no longer feeling alone, like it's just immense. It feels so good. We have the Eight of Cups again. It's moving on, finding something more meaningful, letting go and releasing, and moving forward. When I told you the power that's built up behind this, it's like a slingshot. It's like that's why they kept giving me the power. It's the Chariot card. Chariot, when the two sphinxes, when the two aspects of something are in alignment, when everything is in alignment for something, the momentum at which something can move forward, the power behind it, when it's that immense, there's no stopping it. It's Rhino Spirit. It says Rhino Spirit. There is, don't you fucking step in front of that bitch, because you will get mauled over. I swear to God, I don't know who you think you are. Step in front of a rhino, see what the fuck happens. They will move you out the way. They don't move, you move, right? You are the rhino in this. Your situation, your circumstance, your life that's why people have this victory, this level of success. It has such immense momentum. You want to talk about the tower is moved out of your way. The resources are put onto your plate. The mental strain and oppression that was in place gets relieved, and the connection with spirit is enhanced. Your intuition is amplified. You bring all that shit together and you think for one fucking second anything is going to be able to step into your way. There are no obstacles left. When you have the Chariot's major arcana, it talks about the overall immensity of an energy that's at play, right? The power behind this that's where the assured success and victory comes from. An important achievement. Success guaranteed. We have it at both the major and the minor arcana. And I feel like the absence of all those elements. No wonder you felt like this. No wonder you felt like the Ten of Wands. I have an unmovable structure in my path that others are continuing to uphold that I can't do anything about. I lack the resources to be able to do it. All I fucking had the entire time was me, myself, and I, the capacity within me to fucking do it. But no avenue, no resource. I had the wherewithal, the power. I had everything within me, but not the fucking opportunity. And honey, the opportunity is arising. The opportunity is the removal of all that fucking shit. Yes, something does come in. We have the Ace of Wands. It is something new that you absolutely will go after, and Spirit is leading you to it. They're taking you because you do have the capacity. They are guiding you to this moment. They have been the entire fucking time. And when you're navigating at nighttime just by the Northern Star, it is the only thing that you have to hold on to. Everything else is dark. Everything else is scary. Everything else is a potential for bullshit. Like, I can't go off in that direction. If I get out of the moon and the stars light, I don't know what will come after me. I can't see it. All I can do is continue on the path that's before me, the steps that are being lit up for me. And that's what you had to do. But what seems to be happening is it is the conglomerate of all of this. That's why this needed to show up right at this fucking time. This support, financial assistance, this whatever it is, it had to come now to make the path easier, to make it easy to walk away. So that when no other structure would be built in place of this. And this, when this happens, the level of clarity, connection, and peace that it brings makes everything so much easier. It just feels so easy. It's the epitome of the Wheel of Fortune. It's the epitome of the Knight of Swords. It is the stark 180 change. It is the pendulum swinging from here to here. That's what it will feel like. So somebody's about to experience this. And as much as you're like, no, I do know how bad it's been. I don't think you do, because you've almost forgotten what that peace feels like. And when it arrives, when it happens, when you experience it, it is just, you will have a release on every level. And yes, you will shed tears. Mm-hmm. That's that. I hope that finds whoever it is meant for. It's like a burning. I know it sounds so weird, but it's like if I were looking into my chakras, it's the sacral and the solar. like it's revving up. You know what I mean? Like it's like I want to say if you have disbelief about this, then that's okay. Because something about the mixture of your disbelief only fuels this more, the power that they're talking about when you're in the Ace of Wands. It's that cooker pressure or cooker a pressure pot, like the cooker, you know what I mean? The steam that's building. You're very welcome, Trisha. Thank you for joining. Yeah. Yeah. So if you have the mindset that somehow, now by all means, if you're throwing fists etherically at spirit, then that might be a totally different thing. But doubt is not going to stop this from happening. It may be one of the ingredients. Not because they want to surprise you and everything else like that, but because they know what you'll do with that. That doubt only feeds your momentum when they let go of that slingshot. Okay? So if you doubt it, that's okay. All right. I hope everybody has a fantastic and wonderful day. I will be back on again this week. And hopefully at some point this week, we'll be able to do the personal live readings. So, you're reading. Thank you for joining. Have a great weekend.